Sarah, let me just start with you. What you saw coming out of this trial or the initial hearing on this, what your takeaway was?
Yeah, I think what really struck people at the Tuesday hearing was the moment when the judge made a comment about it not necessarily being apparent that monetary damages would be sufficient as a remedy for Twitter in this case. That led people to believe that specific performance or forcing Musk to follow through with the deal was actually a plausible outcome here. Another thing that stuck out to me that one person mentioned to me was just how nonchalant Chancellor McCormick was about the whole thing. You know, a major line of thinking has been, here's a case on such a massive scale with an unpredictable buyer and a company as visible as Twitter. Is the law really going to play out as we've usually seen it play out? And the way that the judge acted so far seems to suggest she's not fazed by these factors, and maybe that could bode well for Twitter.
Larry, the other thing I thought that was pretty significant was the idea that she went along with a time frame that was much closer to what Twitter had been asking for, in part because she doesn't think it's all that necessary to dig through all of the bots and other information, because she doesn't necessarily think it's all that relevant to the case. I mean, that is Elon Musk's main reason for saying that's why he wants to terminate the agreement.
Yeah, there's a limit to how much it's appropriate to get into the details of that. Look, if it's really so complicated, as Musk has suggested, then it gets harder for him to fault Twitter's disclosures about that subject. And if he can't fault those disclosures, I'm not sure he has much of a case left. Where
do you think, Larry, the upper hand lies? I would say just about everyone we've talked to seems to think that Twitter has the upper hand, but what does that mean, and what would the outcome potentially look like if that's the case?
Well, I'm with the majority on this one. I think from what I've seen so far, Twitter does have the upper hand legally. It's a very strong seller-friendly merger agreement that Musk signed. Possible outcomes are, well, one possible outcome is Musk-friendly. Somehow he persuades the court that he had a right to terminate the deal. But in what I think is the more likely outcome, that he's guilty of a breach of the agreement, question is, will he be forced to go forward with it, or will the court rely on some monetary remedy? That, to me, is really the core issue. And on that one, Kara's right. The chancellor is, I'm sure, not fazed by the situation, despite the size of the deal. Delaware has seen lots of big deals before, and she's a vet, in the field. So, yeah.
Here's the question, though. In terms of, you talked about monetary damages, there seems to me a binary choice, unless you think there's some Salmonic decision in the middle here, which is to say that you either are going to force Elon Musk to buy this company at this rate. If you believe that he is in the wrong, you would say specific performance, congratulations, you own Twitter now. Or because the contract suggests pretty clearly that $1 billion is the cap on liability, that would be the price. Is there something in the middle where if you wanted to say, we think you're wrong and you're going to have to pay monetary damages, but it looks, if the damages are capped, then you'd be forced, and you felt the way you're suggesting you think the judge is going to feel, then you'd be forced him to buy the company, right?
Yeah, well, that's right, although there might be a little daylight for something in between. There is a provision in the merger agreement about the cap, as you point out, but there's a suggestion that it doesn't apply if the breach is knowing and intentional. And, that's certainly a possible finding.